Hello friends and welcome back to another video on the Traveling Clad. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tall and I've been traveling around the world for the last 8 years. I've had a heavy focus on the Philippines, Philippine culture, Philippine food, and pretty much spent the last 3 years of my life living in the Philippines. I feel like all of this being said, I'm a pretty good gauge on Philippines cuisine. I've gotten the chance to taste a lot of different various Filipino foods from the southern reaches of Mindanao to the northern parts of Luzon to the middle of the Visayas in Cebu. I've had the sweetest, the spiciest, the savoriest, and the most fishy and everything in between. So I'm gonna hit you guys with a top 10 list of my top 10 Filipino foods you have to taste when you're visiting the Philippines. I couldn't be more proud than to partner with Feed the Philippines Ministry out in Cagayan de Oro on this video. We're talking all about Filipino food, and what they do is specialize in feeding Filipinos. My good friend Kenneth and his community out there heading this project, but more on this at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned to see how you can donate and help them out. Because Filipinos are so proud of their food and there are so many different options to eat when you're in the Philippines, I can't fit it all into one video. I'll also be doing a video on the top 50 foods that you want to taste when you visit the Philippines. If you want more, slap a like on this video and let me know that you want to see more delicious food from the Philippines. With that being said, let's dive right in. Alright, let's open up with chicken adobo. Chicken adobo is the quintessential Filipino food you are going to encounter when you're here in the Philippines. Whether you're trying it at a local carinderia or you're having it at a high-scale restaurant, adobo is one of the main sauces and flavors that come alongside almost every Filipino dinner dish, whatever it is. Filipinos love adobo, and it's made up simply by some vegetables, oyster sauce, vinegar, soy sauce, and bay leaves. There are adobos that are more simple, there are adobos that are more complex, but that being said, it's a relatively simple food. And the nice thing about adobo is that you can adobo anything. You can get adobo pusit, you can get adobo isda, you can get adobo baboy. That being said, you are going to encounter it, and it's one of my top foods to try when you're in the Philippines. Now, I want to cut in here and just mention this off the bat. Filipinos love meat. It is relatively hard to find vegetarian/vegan dishes in this country. So when you're here, I implore you to try the various delicious seafoods and meats that exist in this country. That being said, if you are a vegan or vegetarian, you do have options, and I'll steer you in the right direction right now with my favorite dish in the entirety of the Philippines, and I have tried a lot of food here. My favorite dish by far is Ginataang Langka. Langka means jackfruit in the Philippines, and ginataang pretty much means something with coconut milk or steamed or stewed in coconut milk, also known as gata in the Philippines. You take young, ripe jackfruit that is not sweet yet, you boil it, and then you stew it inside of coconut milk with various different vegetables for about an hour or two. The end product is slightly sweet, very creamy, and goes amazing with a side of white rice and some eggs. I've eaten this for breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter what. This is my favorite Filipino dish, and it's something that is pretty easy locally found across the entire country. I will mention it is a lot easier to find in the northern regions of the Philippines because, as I learned, this is a northern Filipino dish, but it is definitely still possible to find it in the Visayas. Enjoy my favorite dish, Ginataang Langka. I also want to mention that this dish typically comes with pork or some sort of meat inside, but it's definitely commonly found vegetarian style. There are other dishes like pinakbet, which are fully vegetarian that you can try, but we'll talk more about that in a future video. Let's get into our next dish. Our next dish is fried bangus. I've been learning how to speak various Filipino languages like Tagalog and Bisaya, and I still can never pronounce the ng that is in the word bangus. Okay, but besides my shitty pronunciation of the word bangus, bangus is a milkfish, an amazing, creamy, delicious fish that exists in the Philippines. You can get this fish pretty much at every fish market across the country. You will not be able to find this thing. And if you want to get it the boneless way, you can find it in different supermarkets already pre-filleted with no bones on the inside. That is the one caveat to bangus. It is full of bones. That being said, if you get a fried bangus with some soy sauce and garlic and spritz a little bit of calamansi on top, it will blow your taste buds away. It is amazing. The crispy skin and the tender inside. Getting this on a night out with a cup of Red Horse on the side is going to blow your foreigner mind. Next up, we're going to dabble in street food. If you've been watching my channel for any portion of time, you know that I love Filipino street food. Filipino street foods that you can find across the country are super fun. I have to choose one because I can't name every single one in this video. Again, make sure you are subscribed so you can watch the top 50 and top 100 because I will name them each individually. But my favorite Filipino street food is Kwek Kwek, by far. And what is Kwek Kwek, you might ask? It's a deep fried egg in batter, but more specifically, a deep fried quail egg. Quail eggs have a certain magic to them. They're super yummy and super rich with flavors, and Filipinos drop them in this neon orange batter, deep fry them for you, and you can take them on a skewer and dip them in either vinegar, sweet sauce, or both. And they are incredible. So yummy. Found literally across the country, and you can pick them up for as cheap as 10 cents. Maybe not with the current global financial crisis. That being said, other street foods like adidas, pusong ng manok, isaw, and etc. keeps going on. I will mention these in future videos. I've tried them all and I love them all. With that being said, let's jump on to our next food. Alright, I gotta mention this one by name even though I've never tried it myself. Lechon. The lechon of Cebu is world renowned. Whether it's a young hog or an old slap of pork, lechon is the Philippines' national dish, I guess you could say. I don't know if I want to slap the label national on it because I'm not Filipino and I feel uncomfortable saying that. But I think a lot of Filipinos will agree that this is one of the most favorite dishes of the entire country. Lechon is a slow roasted pork with tons of herbs and spices dropped into the middle of it. One of the most famous things you can do with lechon is crack the back when it's fully crispy and partake in squaring this pig off and eating it during a holiday or a festival. Lechon is a celebration food. You usually eat it at a fiesta or some sort of party or get together. It's famous during the holidays, so if you're visiting this country for the first time and you want to get your hands on some amazing lechon, I highly suggest you head down to Cebu around Christmas time or Sinulog time, and you will find lechon literally everywhere. And most likely, you won't have to pay for it. Filipinos are very generous and kind, and they will grab you by the hand and bring you over to try it. Again, this is one of the most coveted and favorite foods of the entire country, so you're not going to miss it if you're coming there. Alright, let's jump off to what was my favorite dish in the Philippines for a long time until I discovered Ginataang Langka. That being said, it is still high up there. This is Kare Kare. In my opinion, one of the most unique and delicious foods you could find anywhere in the world. A thick peanut butter sauce, delicious, slow-cooked oxtail, falling off of the bone, tripe, which doesn't sound appealing, but till you put it in your mouth, you won't know how delicious this is, and tons of vegetables. Oh my god, is Kare Kare delicious. It is so yummy. The flavors and the textures you get from this sweet and savory dish, it's just incredible. Paired with a side of white rice or garlic rice, and one of my favorite places to eat this was in Nirvana Hostel in Siargao in General Luna, having this with a side of tofu sisig, one of my favorite meals of all time anywhere I've had in the world, and I've traveled to 50 countries. That's how much I love Kare Kare. Filipinos will typically eat this thing with bagoong, which is shrimp paste. I cannot recommend Kare Kare enough. Okay, we have to mention this one because it's also one of those sort of national dishes. Lumpia. Lumpia comes in many different forms. And what is lumpia, you might ask? Well, it's an egg roll. Lumpia was brought down to the Philippines from Chinese customs from what I've come to understand, but it has evolved to have sort of a life of its own in the Philippines. I've had lumpia with sweet potato in it. I've had lumpia with tuna in it. I've also had lumpia with pancit in it. Wherever you are in the Philippines, you will be able to find lumpia. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's fast. It's also really delicious because, come on, if you're feeling some sort of meat or protein inside of an egg roll wrapper and then deep frying it, it's gonna be yummy. Typically, Filipinos will eat the most famous version of this in the country, which is called Lumpia Shanghai, which is typically filled with minced pork and a bunch of other vegetables. But again, it's not only pork, and you can find various variations of this across the country. So whether or not I tell you to try lumpia, you're probably gonna be trying lumpia when you're out here. Alright, another one of my favorite dishes in this whole country. Chicken Inasal. Inasal is the Philippines' way of barbecue, and I swear by it. From all the countries I've been in the world, Filipinos are the best barbecuers I have ever met. Chicken Inasal is the best and my favorite way by far to eat chicken anywhere in the world. Now, there's two variations of the same dish, so I'm going to mention the first one, which I like a little bit less. There's the Bacolod version. Bacolod is a town on the island of Negros. It is famous. It is one of the bigger cities of the Philippines, and it is famous for originating or sort of faming chicken inasal. Now, in Bacolod, chicken inasal is typically more savory and salty, which a lot of people like, but I am a guy with a sweet tooth, and I love the classic banana ketchup barbecue sauce sweet sauce chicken inasal. You know the one that you can get in Mang Inasal? Well, yeah, there's even better ones than that. Mang Inasal is one of the most famous fast food restaurants in the Philippines, alongside Jollibee, Chowking, all those others. And in Mang Inasal, you can get amazing sweet chicken inasal. Now, this flavor of chicken inasal is replicated by many different local inasal shops across the country. But again, whether you're getting chicken inasal in Bacolod, if you want it salty and savory, or you're getting it down in General Luna and Siargao, or you're getting it from a fast food restaurant like Mang Inasal, you are gonna enjoy this dish. It's fantastic. Now, Filipinos are huge on soup. There are tons of different soups. You wouldn't imagine it, right? Because it's typically seen as a warm tropical country. That being said, there are many colder regions of the Philippines where soups are typically eaten. And you'll definitely find people, even in the hotter parts of the Philippines, eating soups because soups are a favorite dish here. Sinigang being one of the most famous dishes. But that being said, I will include sinigang in my next video because it's not one of my favorites. I like sinigang, but it's not as good to me as Paz Batchoy. This is a noodle soup. Now, you can have it with pork or you can have it with beef. You get delicious noodles and tons of vegetables in the mix. Paz Batchoy is one of my favorite dishes, and it's famed in the town of Iloilo, which is also one of my favorite places in the Philippines. It's an absolutely beautiful city with tons of amazing people, known to have the friendliest people in the Philippines, besides Cagayan de Oro, or the whole country as a whole. It's hard. You guys are all very friendly. I highly recommend trying to have it in the wet season when it's a little bit colder or raining outside and it's late at night. It will have the extra magical kick to it. But that being said, anytime you have it, you are gonna love it. That's a promise. The last dish we got here is sisig. Now, you might be wondering why I didn't include this at the top of the list. And that's because sisig is so diverse. It's so hard to choose which sisig you want. I've had crocodile sisig, I've also had chicken sisig. I've had tofu sisig, I've also had oyster sisig. Sisig comes in so many different variations, but the basic premise of sisig is it comes out sizzling. It's also known as a sizzling sisig. It's some sort of protein or meat, usually cooked in with special spices or a gravy on a hot cast iron skillet, and it is served to you sizzling. You could have this for breakfast, you could have this for lunch, you could have this for dinner. A lot of times it will come with a sunny side up egg on the side, and of course some rice. You mix all that jazz together and you are gonna have a flavor explosion of taste buds in your mouth. Again, this is one of the national dishes of the Philippines. Filipinos will highly recommend this dish to you anywhere you go, and everybody knows it. So sisig is something you cannot miss when you visit the Philippines. Guys, what foods did I miss? Let me know down below in the description. But before we do, I want to tell you guys about who we partnered with. Guys, we have an incredible partner for this video, and I say partner, not sponsor. Feed the Philippines Ministry, based in Cagayan de Oro, is run by a good friend of mine, Kenneth, who's been focused on helping and providing food for underprivileged Filipinos. They've been a charity since 2013 and have given out more than 37,000 chinelas and fed more than 53,000 people. On average, they're feeding about 250 to 400 people monthly. You guys can donate right now through PayPal, or you can send money directly to them on GCash. All the information will be down below in the description. Kenneth has also got an amazing YouTube channel called Hey Po Philippines Outdoors that he wants to use as a catalyst to not only help people, but show people the wonderful outdoors of the Philippines. This is a man who truly loves this country. This video could not have been created without him. I lost tons of footage after Typhoon Odette through my hard drives getting wet, and Kenneth went out in Cagayan de Oro and got me tons of footage that I could use as supplemental footage for food in this video. By donating and shining a light on Feed the Philippines Ministry, we can all help people who truly need it. So guys, with all of that being said, please check them out down below in the description. It'll be a huge help, and I know everybody would really appreciate it. Maraming salamat, my friends, for watching the video. And if you're a foreigner and don't understand what I just said in Filipino, I said thank you very much in Tagalog. Guys, I love Filipino food, and I know that a lot of people get overwhelmed sometimes with the culinary decisions they have to make in this country. I want to make a guide for you to understand these foods better, so they're not so misunderstood or looked down at in any way. I'll be making a top 50 and eventually a top 100 Filipino foods you have to try in the Philippines. There are so many different variations of the same foods, and so many different foods from every island in the north, the middle, and the south of the country. And we're gonna try it all. So make sure that you're subscribed with those notifications turned on so you don't miss a single video from the Traveling Class, because we've got so many more Filipino foods to show you. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. I love you long time. Goodbye.